this season on Kerr Fatou. Fatou. Oli.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
Asalaamaaleykum mbokk yi ñu dalal leen fii ci beneen épisode Kerr Fatou comme niñ ko defee rek alxamis bi jot ñu ñëw fii waxtaan ak yéen ci xew-xewi jamono xam ngeen ne nag ci jamono politique lañ nekk te politique Gambia comme wax naa ko tey foog naa ñu ngi less than 60 days to election December 4th kon nag amuñ dara luñ wax lu dul politics te am na solo ñu wax politicians yi seen ay nit li ma nar def mooy wax ak waa diaspora representative si parti yi last week gis ngeen ne wax nañoo ak team SO4 wax nañoo ak seen diaspora representative mooy nga xam ne mooy chairman of the campaign committee Alhaji Sanyang this week nag ma am mbégte lool am dalal Gambia Democratic Congress GDC seen diaspora PRO bi Mr. Dodou Ndow. Dodou all the way from London. Dodou, welcome to Kerr Fatou for the first time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fatou. Yeah, I'm pleased to be invited to Kerr Fatou. Definitely, yes, this is the first time, but I'm a keen follower of Kerr Fatou, and obviously, you know, I have done a lot of contributions in terms of feedbacks and stuff to Kerr Fatou, and obviously we also appreciate your impartiality and the work that you do in the Gambia. I know you may have a party in your heart, but definitely the way you operate definitely is encouraging, and I would just encourage you to keep on doing that as a media personality. Thank you.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302 data amount hash or go to your Yaiborom menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data, it's fast, lasts longer and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndow, and we do appreciate that feedback. Political parties are our stakeholders. We work in collaboration with them, and we definitely have a very good relationship with GDC and all the parties that operate in the Gambia. Mr. Ndow, first and foremost, let's start by looking at who Mr. Ndow is. Just a little background about yourself before we get into GDC.
Thank you, Fatou. Mr. Ndow, obviously, I am a Gambian. I was born in Banjul in 1971 and traveled to the United Kingdom in 1994 after finishing my high school, Gambia Muslim High School in 1990, doing my common, the GCSE. So I went to primary school in Sukuta Primary School and Albion Primary School to start with. So after coming to the UK, I engaged with obviously family, bringing up, and as well as educating myself, developing myself in terms of both knowledge and finances, stability, obviously given the issues that we had in the country at the time. So that made me part of the diaspora that I settled in the UK over 20 years now.
Yes, in the diaspora. So tell us why GDC for Mr. Ndow? I know we have so many political parties in the Gambia, but why GDC?
That is very, it's a very simple answer, really, to be honest, because if you look at 2016, when GDC was formed, in 2016, Gambia was a kind of so-called democracy, but we all know what transpired at the time, and it was difficult. So many political parties were banned, including the UDP, the DOIS, and many of the parties. And of course, until 2016, when the nomination was going on, during the lift of the ban, almost only few parties emerged, and we felt that it was necessary for new breeds of Gambians and new skills, obviously with experiences, to stand up and form a political party. And when I was consulted and invited by my friends, obviously, I then was very much keen into joining the GDC, because at that time all we needed was a change, and we needed also a vibrant, new, youthful political party that could stand up to what was transpiring, during the days of Jammeh.
And of course, you joined the GDC, and in 2016, GDC, just few months into existence, pulled 17% of the votes. And this was a surprise to so many people. And people were surprised how they were able to do that. But what did you think was the reason for GDC's success in 2016?
Yes, like every other organization, we had a very good leader, as we all know, Honorable Mama Kande. I would obviously greet him also personally, and the entire executive taking the opportunity in this program. Honorable Kande is a good leader, and obviously the executive of the GDC also were good leaders. I have been there in 2016, 2014, 2015, 2016, until 2018 also. I returned back there. And then we always had a very good discussion, listening to each other, participate in terms of how we want to go by issues. And I think that is fundamental in any organization, because one of the things is we all have expertise in our own rights and obviously experiences. And it was all put together and made useful for the interest of the Gambian people. And that's how we have been operating until today, as you can see in the Gambia. Fatou.
So now, 2016, just like I said, Mama Kande surprised everyone. GDC, a lot of people, including myself, believed was the deciding factor, actually, because the 17% that GDC took came from Jammeh, came from APRC, because Kande was an MP for APRC for over 10 years. So a lot of us believed his numbers were coming from Jammeh. If he had not taken that number, maybe we will still have Jammeh here, because look at the difference was just what? The difference was just 18,000 votes. But 2017 to now, what would you say is the progress that GDC have made? Yes, at the National Assembly level, GDC pulled the same number of seats, just like NRP, and even more than DOI, I guess, right? And the same number with APRC, the former incumbent. So a lot of people say that's impressive. When it comes to the council elections and others, even when it comes to like the governor, the chairmanship, GDC, apart from UDP, is the only party who has won. So that is impressive. But a lot of people have said the dynamics might have changed. 2017 to now, what would you say is the progress that GDC have done from the 2017 elections, the local government election, up to date 2021? What is the progress that GDC have been doing?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we need to look at it in two ways. There are tangible progresses that we can see, and there's also intangible, like factors that people cannot see, but we can feel it. We can all know. So now let's look at the area where people can see out there. I mean, in terms of our political base, in terms of our meetings, I heard a lot of people saying GDC is died, GDC is been shut down by Barrow, blah, blah, blah. But we can see that's not the case. Anytime we are out, it proves itself. So those are things that people can see. We have more and many areas of the Gambia now coming onto the GDC, some of who were with us before during the 2016 election, but obviously for reasons best known, they had to leave, and now they are back. Every week we are seeing hundreds of people coming to the GDC. I mean, these are things that people can see, the developments we've done for the Gambian people, and you can see that the Gambian people also have got more hopes for the GDC, because 2016 was even not sure, because some were even saying at the time that we were sponsored by the APRC or we were sponsored by Jammeh, and that has now proven, because as the Wolof says it, it's only time that can prove tumor. So now time has come for people of the Gambia to know that GDC is an independent, hardworking political party that wants to make Gambia to another level, put Gambia into another level. So these are things that people can see. Some of the other things that people cannot see also is that if you look inside GDC, and particularly the way that the political dynamics changes in the Gambia, you can see there is a big work going on behind closed doors. Obviously, there's a huge amount of participation, discussions, organization that goes on inside GDC, that anytime we come out, you can see the impact it also shows within the Gambian population. So also in terms of some of the factors that people have in their heart, it's like now they're beginning to know who Honorable Kande is. Now they're beginning to know what the GDC stands for. And like I said, Fatou, I have been here over 20 years. And all I want is a very good Gambia that I can be proud of. A very good Gambia that my family can go to and live, or even get married to Gambian husbands and live there. But of course, in this way, it's not going to happen. I don't even want them to go and live there in these circumstances, because obviously they are used to, their freedom, their livelihood, and all that. So these are the reasons why we all stood up. But you can see that for us, most of us, our time is almost gone. If we are lucky, we'll be living maybe another 20 years. So, but we want Gambia to be in a state whereby our children and our grandchildren will be able to go there and participate, and even be grandsons and sons of Gambia that we yearn for.
Two things, Mr. Ndow, you mentioned here. You said how people say GDC is a party that is dying. I want to come there. I mean, a lot of us, I don't believe GDC is dying, and I believe GDC we need to watch out for GDC in the next election, because the GDC is going to be a key player. If you know politics and you look at the dynamics, you know that GDC is going to be a key player. But what we cannot also deny, Mr. Ndow, is Barrow is taking from the heart of GDC. Remember, Mr. Mama Kande and the President Barrow are from the same region, and GDC, Jimara and URR is being looked at. Every political party has a base, and Jimara and URR is being looked at as GDC's strong base. And President Barrow is investing heavily in infrastructure, in other services in URR. He's trying to take URR away from GDC. But what we have also seen is key members of the GDC executive that are leaving GDC to go to the president's camp. Yes, we have seen that in other parties, but it seems like Barrow dal yen la gëna ñata ci baat bi than any other party. Don't you think that President Barrow is slowing the GDC progress of growing as a party? That is what a lot of people believe. What's your take on that?
No, I totally disagree. People can obviously they always when there is one move across, especially some of the Gambia media, obviously not exceptional, obviously with you and few others, but some of them I can see they will go out there. Oh, one person have moved to the NPP, but when 300 move from NPP to the GDC, no one says anything. So
I think I always have this issue with your youth president MC Cham. We always have this issue, and he would say, "Yenangi binda ne bena need more than why you get 300." If a Demba Sabali leaves, that's an executive member of a GDC. That is not equivalent to 100 people in your hamne. They don't have the name, because to be honest, sometimes it's the name and the value of the people that leave.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for us as news people, it matters to us if an executive, even if it's not an executive, but a prominent member of a party,
of GDC,
that is newsworthy. So I think that's
absolutely
we have with you. I always have this issue with my brother.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, you're looking at the brand name and the thing, but politics is more about numbers. So we always need to bring it back to numbers. So Demba Sabali left, for example. He didn't take more than 5 people with him. Demba Sabali hasn't got a group of people. Even me in the diaspora, the amount of VI companies I have in the Gambia is more than what Demba Sabali gave GDC. So when Demba Sabali left, to be honest, we jubilated. He's the only member of party.
Are you sure of that?
No, Fatou, my hand on my heart, I can tell you that when Demba Sabali is the only executive member of the GDC that ever leave us and we celebrated. Because he was holding us up. I know something about it. I used to communicate directly with him. And I know his capability. I know what he can do and what he cannot do. And he knows me very well as well. I'm not bragging, but people who are part of our team also know how we were working with Demba Sabali. So Demba Sabali, to be honest, it's just a loss by the name, but not a loss by any kind of value, to be honest. But going back to your question, I mean, in terms of the President Barrow's decretion of the GDC, people always will say that. Yes, because they believe Barrow came from the same area with Honorable Kande. But if we remember, I mean, and this is no offense to my UDC brothers, but if anything, Barrow took more from UDP than any other party. Why? Because Barrow initially said he was a Mandinka. Initially. He said, I'm a Mandinka. I mean, which was irrelevant anyway, because he's the president for all Gambia. Yeah. But he said, I'm a Mandinka, and he started taking some, dividing UDP. Then he started to say, no, now, sir, you know what? I'm no longer a Mandinka. I think I'm a Fula. Yeah? So he kind of played that game. But obviously, knowing Barrow and Barrow's caliber of person, that is not surprising. January, you are a Mandinka, and in June, you are a Fula. But that was not obviously important as far as we are concerned. But one thing we can tell you is that the URR, people of Basse, Jumara, and that area, they all know President Barrow more than every one of us. And if you look at the biggest tribal politics that they ever use openly as the only political party in the Gambia that has first gone out of the public and start talking tribalism is President Barrow's camp through Honorable Hamad Ba and his other people that were standing out there calling for fullers, talking about, tribes openly. And we are not saying tribalism or racism is everywhere in the world. Yeah, but we can see just recently in Banjul, the emergence of SO4, what he has caused in Banjul, because Domi Banjul la. But people don't openly go and say, oh, I'm going to support SO4 because man all of la. But Barrow's camp will stand there and say, fullers, you have to come to Barrow because Barrow is a fuller. That is pathetic. That is something that I was shocked to hear. And I'm sure the international community will never respect our president just for hearing that happening within his own camp, and more seriously when he was present for that thing to happen. So Barrow definitely, I'm not saying that he did not get anything from GDC. If he get 10 from GDC, because people like money, people want fame, people like to be like, oh, I want to be with the president, oh, I want to be working at the State House. But come on, in Africa, look at in Jammeh's days, even, anybody could be a minister, anybody could be a permanent secretary, anybody could be a secretary general. So the same thing, if I wanted to be a minister now for Barrow or anything, I could easily get it. But my pride and my integrity, I think, is more important than anything else. So, and history will judge me tomorrow. So that is why I believe that President Barrow takes a bit from GDC or even whatever amount, but I can tell you the ratio will be 10:50. If you take 5, we get 45 more.
Wow. Well, interesting. No, now let's look at, you've been talking about President Barrow for a while. Give me your assessment of President Barrow's tenure. Is December we go to election. He's going to serve 5 years. Yes, President Barrow was supposed to serve 3 years. That was the agreement. But I always tell GDC, don't comment about that because you were never part of the coalition. So you are not supposed to give, contribute to that conversation because you refuse to be part of the coalition. But now let's look at the assessment of President Barrow's tenure since he took over. There were key things that the coalition promised, the coalition government: constitutional review, TRRC, of course, the setting of the TRRC, yeah. and also what, Commission of Inquiry and Civil Service Reform, and I think those were the ones, right? But President Barrow went further. He's done the Basse Bridge, he's done the Laminkoto Road, he's done a couple of roads in the region. So would you say that President Barrow delivered on the promise that he made to the Gambian people almost 5 years into office?
No, President Barrow did not deliver. Even if we were to rate him, I had my MC Chang always say 0/10, but I will give him 1/10 or 2/10. But that is failed. Obviously, it's nowhere near a pass. It's not even a fair pass because obviously the 3 years agreement. Yes, we were not part of it, but we know why. And the same thing is going to repeat in 2021. Very similar, because you will see that some parties will not want to be part of a coalition because they believe that if they join the coalition, it will not be in the interest of the opposition. So politics is all about dynamics. You have to understand some of the internal factors that can cause problem, more good, more bad than good. So, but we will get there when we get there in 2021, and I will remind you, inshallah. But in terms of President Barrow's failure, is great failures that he's done. I mean, you can see that one of the key things that was the reason why he was brought into power by independent, to be an independent president, 8 political parties plus an independent candidate. President Barrow did not honor the 3 years, obviously blaming UDP. I had people blaming UDP, but to be honest, I will never blame UDP in that aspect, in a sense that no matter what, President Barrow should have been the one. He's the one that the Gambian people entrusted and give power to. So even if Honorable Ndow GDC said to him, you need to go to 5 years, he could have sit down and said to him, you know what, this is what Gambian people said or agreed with me. and I have to honor it. So brace up. I will support you as he supported them in 2017 for mayoral election and parliamentary election. I will support you, and I will make sure you become the Gambia's next president, maybe after me. That could have been an easy way of doing it. But President Barrow is the one who wanted to go 5 years more than Ousainou Darboe telling him. So that is something that I can never be law into those kind of yes, UDP moko wax mu def ko or daf ko def because of UDP. No, man, I don't believe into those things. Mom moko boga def. Number two, the reason why all those people that sat down and made those agreements, and with this, I will say people like my party, even if I disregard Henry Gomez, obviously, because he is like me, but not very much knowledgeable. But my party, at least with Khalifa and other people, they are experienced legal people. They are close with the law of the land. So obviously they draw up a design to follow it. So that was the reason why that is, because they know what it can cost. Because they have seen other, Gambia is not the first country to go into transition. They've seen transitions across the world, particularly Africa. So they came up with those designs for him to follow. So that we wouldn't be in this predicament that we are in today. But no, because he wanted to cling into power. So then I started regretting Jammeh. I said, you people are saying that Jammeh want to cling onto power forever. But you are fighting Jammeh, but you are doing the same thing. So then what's the difference here? So this is why I would say President Barrow, come on, we did not change, Pinochet for Brezhnev. We wanted something better, and definitely President Barrow is nowhere better than Jammeh.
At least President Barrow is not killing people today in Gambia. Yes, President Barrow did not give us that. We have democracy. We're able to speak our mind. People like MC Chama on the radio every single day, throwing stones at the president, and nobody even arrest them. Yes, this was something that every single Gambian fought for. And it's something that I always say, no one can take that away from us. But government, foguloko muna nañ ko nasaxal waaye tey ñu bàyyi I mean ñu ngi empower loolu, but also like infrastructure development gis nañ loolu. Wouldn't you say at least they have done something at least in that process?
That's why I give them 2%. I want to be more generous than MC Cham, obviously. How about MC Cham? There was 0. I will give you 2. So 2 over 10, because at least dinga muna wax ne hejna just the setup of the TRRC, for example, gis nañ lu fa feeñ. So obviously many authorities now will not want to do what used to happen. People can say what they want. It's a democratic state, so-called democracy, nascent democracy, not fully democratic, but at least it's not. You cannot call it a full authoritarian as well, because there are some leeways in terms of people are freer to do certain things which never used to be. So of course, in that is an achievement. So, and I would say, yes, he could have made it weak or even worse, but at least you can see that with the authorities or the people that we have in the Gambia today, they will not allow that to happen. So it is a combination of government and the people. So now is that pull factor. But as I can say to you, I have been to the Gambia recently. I was there in February and in July this year, and I have seen that there is not a lot of changes. Obviously, yes, there is some. Something a road is Mankam, is it Hakalang Road, blah blah blah. But yes, roads are very good interconnection. But what is the point of giving those roads and they don't have cars to drive it on? That those roads are going to stay there for somebody to drive from Combo to go to maybe Senegal or somewhere around Casamas to be able to go through that road. So what's the point? So now we are not saying don't do roads, but give people means to use, or means that will give up their life before they can think about those roads. Because before you can think about those nice roads, you have to have a very nice car or a good car. But the majority of the Gambian people, I always say it, I said it in my last interview at Star TV, I said to them that 80% of the Gambian people are living under poor conditions. Like, you cannot call them rich. They are living by the day. They don't even maybe have a bank account of certain thousands to live on. That is why they suffered during the COVID response. So give Gambians a good life. Better standards of living is important. Electricity, water. These are the basic things that people should have. Once we have all these things first, and why can we not have it? Roads, to make roads are more expensive than electrifying Combustion Mary, or maybe URR or CRR or West Coast. But and in fact, you get money out of that investment when you buy the most expensive generator or the biggest solar system and put it on KMC and West Coast. People pay, you get money back. But when you put roads, you don't get that fund back. So what are they doing? Are they thinking? These are my concerns, Fatou. That's why I said I will not say 0 to him. I'll be more generous, but I don't think he has reached even 3 out of 10.
Well, that is really harsh though, Mr. Ndow. But I'll leave it to that. That's your opinion. I will take a first commercial break. When we come back, we look at GDC. What is the level of preparation for GDC going into December? What is going to be the messaging? What is GDC selling to the electorates this time? And of course, we have seen surveys coming out, and it says that President Barrow is likely to win. And I saw your reaction to that. So when we come back, we'll look at all of that. We'll take our first commercial break.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3, or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings, 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Your taxes, you have to pay.
Look at my sleep. I think I am cheated. Yes, you are cheated. This is not what they stated on your employment letter. It's okay. Just give it to me. I think Fatou must explain this better. Go and see her. Let me go to her office now. I think I am cheated. Look at my slip. I did not buy PE tax. Why did you deduct it from my salary?
No, Lamin. PAY is an acronym which means pay as you earn. Employment income tax is any profit or gain arising from employment. It includes salaries, wages, bonuses, leave pay, overtime, allowances, and commissions. The employer is charged with the responsibility of deducting the tax at source and remit to GRA monthly before or on the 15th of the following month.
Really?
Yes. Any employee who earns incomes from $2,000 and above per month arising from employment in the Gambia is subjected to employment income tax.
But what if my employer deducts my salary and does not pay to GRA?
Then it means your employer is cheating on you and the government. Anytime if detected, your employer will be charged to pay the full amount, and you cannot get any document from GRA indicating your tax compliance.
Thank you very much for making me understand. I think from now on, I will be finding out with you to know whether my taxes deducted from the salary are paid to GRA or not. And I will urge every employee to do the same. Thank you very much.
This information is from the Gambia Revenue Authority. For more detailed information about your pay income tax obligations, please visit any of the nearest GRA offices. The Gambia Revenue Authority, collecting revenue for national development.
GRA, you are more dollar for more fair tax.
Sampa
deena
déedéet daf ma yónni woon ma joué ko bii waaw yàlla def mu gagné jàppoon $100,000 la
la ilaha illallah
te yow xam nga ne sama papa dafa amee cardiaque
yow da ngaa dof yow xam nga luy $100,000
am naa ko kay man naa lu ñëw bëggoon nga dimbali
demal na nga def damaa toog rek sama xel mi ne ci yow xam nga bërki démb li daal si benn waay fee waaw ma romb ko rek bërki démb waaw muy yuuxu di tëb ma ni kii lu ko dal ñu ne ma daal ci loto gaming Gambie bi la laal
jar na ko
laal na ci lu di waaw
nga dafa am quarté am kente am tiercé waaw maanaam nag tey jii kente bi la te jackpot bee passé xaalis
kente mooy lan
kente maanaam mooy juróomi fas yi
waaw beneen bi
am na quarté mooy ñeenti fas yi ak tiercé tey nag xaalis bi daa gën a yokk
lu tax
ndax jackpot bële dañ kaa tegaat ci bii maanaam juróomi fas yi boo ko jàppee ci ordre mooy risque nga désordre bi sax day fay bu ma ko jàppoon
yooyu moom noonu la demee da ngay dem rek jouer
am na lu ma yaakaar
man gis naa seen kii yi keesku yu ndaw yi ci biir dëkk bi mais daal dama ni lii moom amul xaalis da nga ciy def sa xaalis
day jël wecce rek sànni ko fa xool jëmbat la la ilaha illallah yow li nga wax ni tey ji bu yàlla dogaloon ma gañe ko lu mu gàtt
fi mu toll nii boo gañe woon $100,000
waaw lu may def
waaw nooy def
xam nga yow sama xarit nga
waaw
damay fexe nga rey say noonu
ci nan
lu mu gàtt $50,000
waay
Thierno woowee l'ambulance
lan la lu xew ni
sa baay gay dee na
sama papa gay lu ko rey
$100,000 dalaa ne ko boo ma gañaloon si li ma la yónni dama ko koy jox mu daanu ni sama kaw
man waxuma ko mu waxee woon la ko noonu yow la ko waroon informé ndax yow yaa ko gañe jàppoon.
Welcome back to part 2 of this interview. With me tonight on the show, I have Mr. Dodou Ndow. Dodou is the GDC Diaspora chairman. He's based in the United Kingdom. Dodou, the first part we looked at general issues. We also looked at your assessment of the government. But now we're into the December election, almost 50-something days to election. December 4th, Gambians will go to the polls to elect either a new president or to continue to give President Barrow another mandate. And GDC is a stakeholder in this. Now, tell us, what is the level of preparations for GDC going into the December election? And what role is the diaspora, the GDC diaspora, playing in this year's election?
Thank you, Fatou. Very important question. I will tell you that the GDC is well prepared, and we are also going to be the kingmakers of this election. As you can see, the Gambian people are getting ready. We have registered. It ended obviously in July, and we have 950,000 registered voters, and I think obviously, and we can see the voting pattern, the registration pattern, how West Coast got the most and all that. But I can also tell you that obviously the youths have registered more this time, and GDC stands for the youths and the women, obviously. So that's why you have the youths and women development. The youths have registered a lot between KMC and West Coast. And these youths, we are worried about their future. Like I told you earlier with my own kids. We want to see the Gambian youths going in the next 10, 20 years for them to be able to be successful in that country without going out. Because as you can see now, even to get a visa to come for holidays to your family member for 4 weeks is difficult nowadays. In my days, in the early 90s, it was easier to travel. People travel all over the world. Gambians, most of the Gambians to travel. That's why today you have that much amount of development in the Gambia done by the diasporans. So over $29 billion is 2020 from the diasporans, out of what over 150,000 diasporans. So now that is not going to happen in 10 years' time. You can see the amount. If you go to the airport now, you see how many youths are traveling out of Gambia. It's not a lot. That's why they're taking the back way, which is very unsafe. So we worried about their future. So the GDC has got the first manifesto out in August 2020. And in its manifesto, it is very, very clear about what we want to do for the youths and for the women. But to do all that in our manifesto, you can see we've categorically, on point number 1, we talk about reform of institutions. And this reforming of institutions, nothing can work without getting that done, because you have to reform the institutions. Some institutions are overstaffed, some are understaffed. It doesn't mean anybody losing a job, really, but people can move around into the same wages, different departments, to cut costs of government expenditure and develop the people's security and need in other parts of the governance. Because what we need to understand really is the development of good governance of a country is based on the effects it has on people's lives. Not I have the most expensive presidential car or I have the biggest entourage. No. It should be, how is my people feeling? Or what am I doing for my people? When my people go out there, how do they perceive themselves? That is important. But having these institutions reformed with private and public institutions, we will have a better functional government, functional governance system. In that case, everything else can fit in properly. That gives in a good medical and health facility in every region. That gives us good digitalization system, whereby our tax base will be increased, we'll have more money. Farmers can be given more money, more mechanizational tools from tractors. Somebody will say to me, how are you going to give a tractor to a farmer when they don't know how to drive a tractor? There we can use our personnel. We have the army there who can train them. We have people there who can go and help a farmer, spend 1 month with a farmer, with his recommended driver, fully trained and licensed to drive a tractor. It's not difficult. If the farmer was producing 10 tons, then they will end up producing 100 tons in a year. And then not only that, but government also need to facilitate the sales of those products into the West. We can see it today. We are, we depending on most of the food we dependent on are from other parts of Europe. They can come from Africa and they are more organic. Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, they are taking advantage of that. But the only thing you find here in UK particularly is Gambian mini mangoes, and that's seasonal, once in a year. But we have a lot of things that can come from the Gambia, from the pepper, from the aubergines, from the corn, and many things that can come from the Gambia. But government have to facilitate for these people to grow these things and sell, get more money, more foreign exchange for our country. So the GDC is ready for all this. And as you can see, our manifesto is the best, the first to be out, and obviously, if Gambians give us a chance, Honorable Kande will deliver this. And I believe, I am very hopeful that come December 4th, the GDC will be in the State House.
I mean, I like the policy angle that you just took, and that is important because I've heard this. We are tired of politicians just using tribe, using money, using other means of politicking. We want to hear their policies. Yes, but these policies, in theory, looks fine and good, but it's the implementation for me. How are you going to implement this? Our budget, our national budget, our budget, we cannot even sustain our budget. Today, we are owing more than any combined Jawara and Jame. We are owing more. Our debt level is really high. Over 50% of, I think more than about 50% or more of our national debt goes to debt servicing. Our budget goes to debt servicing. GRA makes about a 13 billion in a year. How is GDC going to implement these things if we are not able to get more revenue on our own? How are you going to do it? Are you going to keep borrowing? What are you going to do?
I mean, yes, if they cannot do it, it doesn't mean that it can never be done. They cannot do it, and I know they cannot do it. Why they cannot do it? Because they don't have the expertise to do it. They don't have the experience to do it. But we all know that it's possible to be done. So now the question is, are we going to give the chance to those who can do it to do it? We have to promote trade. I have just mentioned to you, promote trade. We have blue economy and we have the green economy. That is what Gambia should rely on more. Farmers and the sea, including the tourism. That is important because the amount of shows that we have in the Gambia, fresh air, nice hotels, but they're never full. So what are you going to do as a government to facilitate that? I have a brother in the UK, for example, Malik Jeng. I will congratulate him for his efforts in promoting Gambian culture in the UK, for example. But how many times do I go to the Gambian Cultural Week and see a big poster advert of GIA or Gambia Tourism Board or something? Why didn't they collaborate with him? Europeans come from all over the world, throughout the UK, to attend that program. It's a good opportunity to sell the Gambian tourism, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost much. I'm sure Njok Malik will be more than happy just to give you a stand for Gambia Tourism Board, you know, just for the night, to sell Gambia. We have television around the European countries that can be used to sell the Gambian tourism. So we have to make money and stop borrowing. Borrow as minimal as possible, but earn more than what you can, what you are spending. So in that case, you will have a surplus to be able to pay your debt. That's one thing. We have to encourage investment also, foreign direct investment, and the diaspora investment fund. I heard somebody talking about diaspora investment bond, but the GDC's one is diaspora investment fund, and ours came out first. And what we meant by that is, you know, I live in the UK. I've tried so many businesses in the Gambia, and what happened is some of them success, some of them fail, because I can never be in the Gambia 24/7 or 365 days in the year. But if I invest, if government had a plan that I can give my £100,000 and somebody bring 100,000, another person 100,000 pounds, that 100,000 pounds times 10 people or to 20 people can be a lot of money that can operate maybe a transport system for URR or a transport system for CRR, or maybe a packaging industry, or maybe even something like a phone company or whatever it is, importing or selling. So this money belongs to Dodou Ndow and Fatou and Musa. So every year or every 6 months, we got our dividends, isn't it? So you making money while you are also working in Europe. So this will encourage me to be able to wake up one day and go and live in the Gambia knowing that every 6 months I'm going to get a dividend. But right now, if I'm not there, I cannot do a business. So these are all things that we should also think about to get more money. And also, obviously, we have to tap into the knowledge and skills of Gambians, in the diaspora particularly, because then people, if you want to make a change, you have to break patterns. And to break those patterns, you have to get new and fresh breed and ideas. And for that to happen also, you cannot keep on using the old system. And I'm not saying that they are not good, but obviously to improve, you have to go beyond what you are already doing. And to do that, you have to involve the diaspora, the people with new skills, new technicals, not only sending money home. $29 billion is sent in a year. Not only that, but we can also transfer our skills, technology, and do a lot of things. And to do that, obviously, they have to look at the laws of the Gambia. Like, you know, a diasporan, for example, most of the diasporans today are dual citizens. They cannot go and be a cabinet minister. They cannot go and be a National Assembly member. They cannot even be a president. So then how are you going to tap into those resources from the diaspora? And you, Fatou, know, you've been in the UK, you've been in America, you've seen the world. Even if you don't go to university, the knowledge and experience alone you gain from these places can make a lot of difference in the Gambia.
Yeah.
So this is why it is important for them. So GDC is looking into all this. and we have a best plan for the Gambia, and we believe strongly that Gambians need to take their eyes off President Barrow and make sure they put GDC into the government to make sure that all these things I'm saying today, we achieve them in short, medium, and long term.
And finally, before we go, a recent poll came out from a newly established organization, Cyprus, and the poll indicates that President Barrow is likely to win the December elections. I mean, this brought in a lot of backlash, controversy from political parties. But obviously, Kerr Fatou published a story that you reacted to, calling it out. And you know, like, what is your reaction first when you saw that post?
The first thing I thought about was, it reminded me the obvious Banjul mayoral election and the KMC, so opinion polls. So you see, and they reference saying that opinion polls has been happening in the US since 1936. We've all been to universities, we've seen references, theories, but let's look at how US does it. They're never paid by any ongoing government or anybody or biasness. You know, if you want to do certain jobs, you have to be very, very impartial. And that impartiality will motivate you or give you independence to go and do whatever research you need to do to get the best results. And those people in the UTG, they say, those students, they might be the few that, you know, do get some money or have some relatives working in the government or whatever, and they come up with this thing. But first of all, Fatou, President Barrow do not even have a manifesto. So how can you say that 43% of Gambians?
I don't think they are children. I know one or two people, but the executive director, Mr. Damfa, is a very mature person. I like, just like you, I also have concerns about some of the things, how the survey was conducted. But I do think they are very much professionals, and I think
separate. Yes. No. I criticize the methodology, because the methodology is that's not good. Obviously, because the people that you telephone, you get their numbers. You know, something like this, if you want to do it, you need an actual research. You need a survey, go on the ground, pick people out randomly, and get a very good sample, a very reasonable amount of sample. Yes, 10% of the 950,000 voters could be used as a sample. That's fine. But you have to also look at the way that you get the sample. So you don't just call. If I call MC Cham now, I'm doing a survey. GDC and UDP and NPP, who do you think will win? What do you think MC Cham is going to tell me?
Obviously,
he's going to tell me that GDC will win.
Obviously, GDC, he will say that. Yeah.
That's the thing. So, but if I go to Serakunda Market and stand there and call one Fatou there, one Musa there, one Demba, one party, who I never met, I never know, and ask them questions, the answers I get is most likely going to be right. So this is why I criticize the report, and I'm saying, if majority of the Gambians do want to go on politics of manifesto and policies, but the incumbent himself do not have one. Maybe you might see it, but I have not seen an NPP manifesto yet. So now, how can most of the Gambians want a president or to elect somebody who's got a manifesto when President Barrow hasn't got one, but still he is the most likely winner? That should be a 0 point for him. Number one.
Do you think that is because of the power of incumbency? I mean, this is African politics. I believe that the power of incumbency is going away. We have seen oppositions winning. I've said this just recently in Zambia. Zambia, the opposition leader who's been trying for the 6th time, just won the election against a very powerful incumbent.
Absolutely.
Yes, incumbency is going away slowly.
Yeah.
But do you still think that President Barrow enjoys some incumbency that could tilt him to win December election?
Oh yes, he's got the money. Obviously, he's got more money than anybody. Yeah. So he is the power of income. He got the state resources. He's got the vehicles. He's got the drivers. He's got some of the officers. So that can even, may neglect the constitutional mandate and succumb to his side. You got 40,000 Gambian civil servants. Thank God, 90% of them do not like him. They just pretend because they know he's not the man for the job, and it's not going to work in his favor. But all these things that are there, also, he's got more at disadvantage. Because if you look at it this way, this time around, we got social media, we got the media press, people like yourself and many others that are doing a fantastic job in the Gambia in terms of exposing everything, let people make their judgment. Also, the amount of people that are anti-Barrow is more than the politicians. The political parties, the people who are not part of politics and political parties are more than those making all this noise. And they are quiet. And most of them are not with Barrow because they can feel what you and I are feeling. They're not enjoying it, but they want to be encouraged. They want to be motivated to see something tangible that they can go by. That is why it's important for our political leaders to think twice and understand what we are having at stake, to not be negligent, not be so reluctant to each other, and also not to be naive and work together in whatever circumstance, whatever it takes, because as it is now, President Barrow, continuity of the Gambia, is only going to deteriorate Gambia more. That's the concern. He's not going to kill anybody, but Gambia will be worse than it is now. Corruption will be more pandemic or endemic than now. Health sector will be worse, because if you're going to do it in 4 years, because you are prioritizing other things, I don't think you will do it in another 5 years. So this is why I'm saying, as it is now, he's got more opposition, not only the political opposition, but the citizenry opposition. President Barrow, one of the presidents in Africa that has got the worst popularity I've seen in him. So obviously that works well for the opposition. And besides, for us, the diaspora, he came here in 20th April. You can see this photo. I was there in that program.
Yeah.
And he said, I am going to make the diaspora the 8th region of the Gambia. He was there with his entourage from the Gambia. But maybe that time, what they were interested is only the money that were paid to them. But nothing of that has come through. The National Development Plan failed, and all these things. So President Barrow, obviously, I do not have any hope. Yes, I'm not saying 100%. Maybe he got a 1% or 2% chance of passing. But I believe if Gambians think twice and look at what is at stake, nobody should tell them right now. And it is going to be clearer even more. Now it's already clear, because you can see we have 23 political parties. But right now, as I talk to you, maybe it's only 6 or 5 that you can name that are on real game plan. Most of the others, nobody hears them. And I tell you, by end of October 30th, most of them are not going to pay 500,000.
This is what I was going to say. Are you worried about the emerge of all these political parties? We have so many political parties in the country right now. And what is worrying is a lot of people say, Karta bi dafa jahaso. And who does that favor? Is GDC concerned about that? Who does that favor? The emergence of all these political parties. Who does it favor?
No. GDC never worried about it, Fatou. Why? And why is because we believe, if you remember, the Gambia, or if you think about it, the Gambia's civic education is very poor. The National Civic Education Council is not doing well, good job. So, the people that try even to educate people is the media houses. So for that reason, having these small political parties going to their people, because remember, each political party stands for a particular group of people, and they are educating them. So which is good. So eventually they're all going to converge, starting with the barrier, but in the end, they all come back together, because many of them know very well that they are not going to stand on election. Even so, then Barrow will lead them. You have the likes of GDC, UDP, SO4, Ismaila Cisse, and Bakari Dabo and Doi. Those people are there. So where are they going to come from? But the good thing is they've done the work. They've educated their people, and they will take their people with them and say to their people, we think GDC is the best place to be. Let us go and support Honorable Kande, endorse him. Or we think UDP is the best, or we think NPP, God forbid. But anyway, this is the good about it. This is the beauty about it. In the UK here, we have over 150 political parties.
Mr. Ndow, yow dafa mel ni daal nga ne ji NPP God forbid dafa mel ni daal tay yéen a UDP yéen a ngi bëgg a nekk cousins nag ni ma gisee doo leen dee laalante waaye doo leen dee sànni wante xeer daal yéen daal yi na ngi strategic.
No, they have learned their lesson from 2016, 2017, and now they understand ne am nga ñu mun ca tàggoo dañoo jàmmoo.
Yeah.
Those who cannot be separated, they have to be in peace, even if they don't believe in all that theory.
Yeah.
The UDP and the GDC in the Gambia, one of my good friends are UDP, and we talk about politics. But at the end of the day, what binds us together more is greater than politics. And the UDP and the GDC, what binds them together is they are 70% of the Gambia. So any government in the Gambia, they need these two parties to support you properly. If Mama Kandeh becomes a president, he has to work with the UDP, the DOIS, and the many other parties, particularly the UDP, to make sure they have good governance. Because legitimacy of winning an election to be a president is two different things. So for you to have the majority of the people supporting you, though is important. The same thing applies to if UDP should be in government, they need the other political parties as well. So then that means that we cannot separate. So we have to be in peace, stop insulting each other, stop fighting. They're all responsible adults. We all have our kids and our families, our wives and children. So what is this all about? All we need is sell to the Gambian people, demonstrate patriotism, demonstrate capability that will get Banjul or Gambia to where it should be, but not fighting against each other. So UDP and GDC, like I said, we now understand it. This is it. We are Gambia. So we need to really be in peace to each other. Because, like I said, today, for example, whole APRC, those people, APRC that went to Barrow, those who were fighting with the NPP, how are they going to sit down with those NPP people now in the State House or when they have a cabinet meeting? Very soon, you're going to start them fighting each other or even having problems because they've said bad things to each other before and they've done bad things to each other before. So that is why politics is about also maturity and be able to sit down and talk. Look at Germany just last week. What happened there? So if those parties were fighting, hitting each other, today they are in a dilemma that somebody have to get 51% to rule the government. So if they were all fighting, who can approach who then? So these are all things that is possible. So with UDP, we are not saying that it's not possible. With APRC, we are not saying that it's not possible. With DOI, we are not saying it's possible. It's not possible. But if we don't have the peace to establish first, that's never going to be fast.
Finally, one sentence. Why should we vote for Mama Kandeh? Why is Mama Kandeh the best candidate for the 2021 December election?
Because Mama Kandeh Fatou, among all the key leaders there that you are talking today, I'm not talking about the 20, but maybe the key 5 or key 4 Sangawa, Honorable Kandeh is the best among them, obviously. He has demonstrated it over the past 5 years. He has taken his stance in 2016, which was very difficult to see, but Tay Gambians did this, as you have mentioned earlier. If we didn't hold that 17%, changes will be done. So leadership, vision. It should be about. It's about visioning. Visionary leader bo hamnela didn't work on his missions. Muge work on the mission since 2016. Ten ame a good case in go. Ame halis in go. Lum munko yereme nini. Lum meti mo fanjika. Lum hew Gambia muncha. Sun National Assembly members gis nañ len. They are working hard in the National Assembly with other colleagues to make things change. So for Honorable Kandeh to be in power, he is the one in the best position to unify Gambians, which we need very hardly, very badly. He is also in the best position to make sure that Gambia move forward with an inclusive government. Because so this is the reason my nyan or my plea to Gambians to make sure that you put Honorable Kandeh into the State House come December 5th, so that by mid-January or late January, we can swear him and we all have a better and progressive Gambia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndow. It was refreshing talking to you. For some watani, I'm not solo. I have said this. the diaspora plays a very big role to Gambia being amtay. So it's important to have you people send stake on what is happening in the country. I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Until New Amla another time. Thank you very much, and my regards to the entire family. And for those of you watching from Kerr Fatou, good night to you all. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Better and stronger as the sole ground operator at the Banjul International Airport. With an expansion in travel services, customers are assured of GIA's capacity to cater for all their travel needs, provided by professional, experienced, and ever-smiling staff. GIA's Hajj package and services, by far the best in the country, give the customers the opportunity for a memorable Hajj experience. For a more efficient cargo services, GIA means business as it launches its new multi-million-dollar ultra-modern cargo complex to revitalize and stimulate air transport. GIA, the pride of the Gambia.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302* data amount hash or go to your Yaiborom menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data, it's fast, lasts longer, and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborom.